Welcome, everyone, to the SCP podcast. This is Community Conversation with Dr. Daniel Lattimore. We appreciate you for stopping by. I wanted to bring to light some of the upcoming events for SCP, or the Society of Consulting Psychology. Most recent will be on Monday, April 29th. We will have a town hall, in which case our president, Mark Sokol, will be addressing issues, and there's a specific issue per town hall, so we hope to see you there. Additionally, if you are not a member of SCP, we encourage you just to get curious about our site. We're at www.societyofconsultingpsychology.org. Feel free to check us out there. We also have a LinkedIn page, and you'll see myself and also our guests for today. So please feel free to hop in. And speaking to my guests, without further ado, please welcome Dr. Ryan Warner.
Hey, Daniel. So glad to be here.
Thanks for stopping by. Oh, and I see you. That is a very nice shirt. What you have there?
I'm a consultant psychologist by training and also the CEO of RC Warner Consulting. And we enhance inclusion and wellness in workplaces worldwide to enhance their organizational effectiveness. So, just repping my company and excited to join today to get into a great conversation with you.
Excellent. I have to get offline with you to talk about getting one in my size. In transition, how did you get into consulting psychology?
Yeah, so to give you a background, I was a military psychologist right after my PhD program. So I did my internship, active duty in the United States Air Force. And then immediately once I graduated, I was director of psychological health, which pretty much it was my job to be the main psychologist consultant for the entire Air Force installation, which had over 20,000 individuals. So it was my job to promote wellness within the organization. And during that role, even though I'm trained, in clinical and counseling, I started my career doing mostly consulting. I consulted with high-level leaders. I helped coach them to enhance inclusion and wellness in their workplace, in their units. I worked to mitigate suicide and engage in suicide prevention efforts on base. Also talked a lot about diversity, equity, inclusion. And ultimately, it was my passion and my purpose to create more belonging within the armed forces and on the military base. And I really obtained a significant passion for that work. So in 2020, I opened my own consulting company, RC Warner Consulting. And it started with just a side gig. I did my 9 to 5 in the military. And then, on the side, I did some speaking engagements, did some executive coaching work. And then it grew. I started to hire full-time staff. And then I was trying to manage, operating a global consulting firm and also being active duty in the military. And it was really hard to manage. So I chose that, hey, I wanted to go full-time, in my business. So I got out of the military and I've been doing it for the last couple of years full-time. So we're based in Houston, Texas. And we're really continue to grow. We have an internship program. We bring on students every semester, every quarter. And ultimately, it's my job and my purpose to fulfill and I guess strengthen the pipeline of future leaders within the field of consulting psychology, as well as continue to make a lasting impact on high-performing organizations.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing your journey, and fortunate to be one of the people that knew you while you were still getting your doctorate training. I know we both attended Marquette University, so to see your journey in real time has been fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And slightly transitioning into SCP world, you are now currently serving as advocacy chair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tell us more about what that looks like.
So the purpose of the advocacy domain is to lift up the voices of SCP members, so we can ultimately, stand up and advocate for issues impacting the field. There's so many different issues that we're all passionate about, whether that be, the ICF certification. Should that be required? Should that not be required? What about diversity, equity, inclusion and how that impacts our work, going into organizations trying to improve effectiveness? What about AI? Artificial intelligence. I mean, there's so many different issues that impact our field. So it's our job, the advocacy domain lifts up the voices of our members so that everyone feels that, they're included and they feel belong within the organization. So we do that multiple ways. Number one, through the mentorship program. We've had a robust mentorship program active for a number of years. And ultimately, there's a lot of individuals that always reach out to me and say, hey, I'm clinically trained, but I really want to figure out how to get into this field of consulting. I'm really passionate about, how to use artificial intelligence in the work that I do, right? Or I want to be, a DI expert, in this domain, specifically doing consulting work. Hey, how do I, get my foot in the door, right? So based on those issues impacting our members, we create this mentorship program and we match individuals that can best support them in their professional and personal development. That's number one. Number two, we've created multiple podcast episodes. We brought on individuals, whether it be authors, esteemed consultants, and individuals that are doing just phenomenal work in the field that serve as SCP members. And we bring them on and we ultimately try to amplify their voice and try to learn more about their background so they can not only promote themselves, but also identify how we can continue to advocate for these issues impacting all of us. So those are the main ways that, we're lifting up the voices of SCP members right now. So yeah, really excited to continue to, strengthen this domain and continue to do this phenomenal work.
Yeah, what's really stood out when you were sharing, several hats that you wear is finding balance for the personal, finding balance for the professional. How do you find that balance for yourself?
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, now, but my wife gave birth to our twin daughters earlier this month. I don't I don't like to use the word balance. I use the word harmony, or I use the word life work integration. Okay, how do we integrate both of those domains of our life, right? So we try to. I mean, I feel like we can't talk about professional development without also bringing in our personal life, right? Because we totally can't separate the two. So in the domain, when we advocate, for instance, issues related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? We can't just say, hey, 9 to 5, when I'm doing consulting work, I need to be mindful of my clients. I work with diverse, clientele. Instead, I also need to be mindful of my own biases, right? When I'm interacting with my colleagues, my peers, individuals in the community, et cetera, right? So we talk about that balance within the advocacy domain and also balance in my life. I recognize that number one, managing expectations is important, right? So, of course, we always want to improve and, get to the optimal heights, right, and reach our optimal potential. And we have to recognize that, slowing down, being present, practicing mindfulness, is essential. And then I think also leaning on our social supports, is also important. That's one reason why, I'm engaged in the mentorship program, because I wouldn't be talking to you today if it wasn't for the supports that I have in my life, the mentors, individuals who guided me, to help me be successful in the work that I do, right? So leaning on supports helps you create that work-life integration, that work-life harmony, both personally and professionally.
Wow, yeah. So let's take that to heart. Not balancing, because that really makes you in the mindset of one or the other, when in actuality it really coexists into the same space
Yeah.
and time. Um, Excellent. My next point will be kind of a second half. So we're talking about your hats as advocacy chair. You mentioned finding that work life integration, and you are also running for SCP president.
Yep, definitely. Yes, I'm so excited to be nominated for president-elect. We're run for president-elect. So if everyone has not cast their ballots, please do so. I believe the ballots came out on 15 April. So I'm not sure when they close, but make sure you check your email so you can cast your ballot for the individual that you mostly align with. But yeah, having served on the board for a number of years. To give a background, I was the first DEI domain lead. So Cedric Williams was the first DEI lead when it comes to division. However, after his time, we actually created a domain specifically for DI. So now, I was the first individual on the executive board that represented DI within SCP. So that was a humbling and phenomenal experience for a year. And then after that, I was nominated to be Advocacy domain lead. So yeah, just being on the board, I think my next progression is, to run for president-elect, so I can continue to lift up the voices of all members, continue to enhance community within the division, improve inclusion and belongingness, and also, strengthen the next pipeline for leaders. Right, I'm a huge, component of promoting the professional and personal development of early career psychologists and students. As I mentioned before, I have a student internship program within my consulting company. And just being part of the mentorship program, I've seen how that significantly have benefited students who've been involved and engaged, and also early career psychologists, and those maybe that don't have a lot of experience in the field of consulting. So that's a reason why I'm here talking to you in front of you right now, right? It's again because of the support and the mentors that I've had, and I want to continue to strengthen that mission as possibly president, moving forward in the future. So that's a little bit, about my why and what I stand for and the reason why I'm running.
Excellent. Thank you again for taking your time to do this and to illuminate. That's what we're hoping to do with these episodes, is to spotlight our members and to really champion the efforts and events happening that we're putting on. So you have Ryan Warner, Dr. Ryan Warner, as our advocacy domain chair, and you see his vision. Is there anything? Well, let me transition just a little bit more. I feel like we're coming to a close. Again, I'd like to plug in for folks that who are able to watch the podcast. If you are a member, great. We'd love to see more of you, hear more of you. We're really in the mindset of amplifying voices. And in addition, Ryan, how can the people get to you? How can they reach out to you?
Yeah. Well, number one, if you're listening to this, and I see there's a live symbol, right? So I assume this is live on LinkedIn, right? Number one, I encourage everyone to vote. Okay, your voice needs to be heard, right? So whatever candidate that you mostly align with, please vote, right? If anything, so that'd be great if everyone could vote, and we can enhance the turnout this year. The second thing is I want you all just to maybe comment. You can DM me as well, and just identify what is one issue related to consulting psychology that you're passionate about. I mentioned a couple today: diversity, equity, inclusion, artificial intelligence, coaching, credentialing, etc. What is one issue that's impacting you in your everyday work right now? And that'll be helpful to know as advocacy domain lead right now, so that we can continue to amplify your voice moving forward. So those are the two action steps that I encourage everyone listening to this be able to engage in. Okay. You can find me on LinkedIn, just typing in Ryan C. Warner, PhD. You can also Google Ryan C. Warner, PhD, and my information will come up. And feel free to reach out to me via email at ryan@rcwarnerconsulting.com. I look forward to continue to engage with everyone. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what the future has to hold. So thank you for having me, Daniel. Appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. And we here, SCP Podcast and Community Conversation, hope you have a great rest of your day.
Take care.